Here I am at an amazing, iconic bar, restaurant right in the heart of the city here in Adelaide. I'm going to be talking to Simon from 2KW shortly about state vibrancy, a bit of the history and the challenges for this venue. The state is incredibly vibrant at the moment, incredibly important with all of the events that are being attracted into the state at the moment, that when people come here, we do our very best to showcase what we've got. When people come here, they're able to go to these amazing venues. But now we're going to go and talk to Simon about this one.
We're 10 years in this year, at the end of this year, which is quite exciting. It's been, very much so. There's been a lot of challenges through the years, but we've got here and it's holding itself very highly still. So we're pretty proud of what's going on and look forward to another 10, I suppose. Martin Palmer came to me one day, and it was actually the wives were talking at a lunch one afternoon, and with Ed Peter, who had bought the building, and suggested that maybe a rooftop venue Adelaide might be ready for one, and that's kind of where it came from. Martin rang me and sort of said, I need you to come and have a look at something and tell me what you think. The vision of 2KW came about. We then did a bit of travelling around the world, having a look at a whole lot of different venues and so on, and the footprint of 2KW came, and we're now 10 years in.
So you talk about challenges, and we won't go into the ones that you've had. We'll let you move on from them.
Thanks.
But in terms of challenges at the moment, like, either for you as a venue or, perhaps the industry as a whole, what do you see them as?
Staffing, I think, at the moment is probably one of the really big challenges we've had. Once upon a time it was probably quite easy, and years ago it felt like that the industry had become serious, where like mum and dad saying you can't be a bartender, because that wasn't kind of a career path. I felt we'd gone through that challenge, but I kind of feel like that challenge maybe is starting to reappear its head again.
Do you think there's still that feeling out there? It's that fight between tertiary education in terms of university, and then the traditional trade sector, and
I think it's for so long for the tertiary guys, they've always been that secondary. It's a job we'll do while we're going through it, and then once upon a time it felt like that there was a lot of people that are going, right, we can actually make career paths out of this now, and it's just, I feel like maybe it's going back the other way a little bit again at the moment for whatever reason. It'd be great to understand what the thinking is behind that, but I think we see it as being something a bit different, and we put a lot of money and time and effort into training and those sorts of things to try and develop career paths for these guys. I suppose we're a little bit bigger, so we've got the opportunity to be able to create career paths for some people. If we listed staff that have worked for us over the years and where they're at now, there's a lot of different, you've got venue owners, distillers, marketing gurus, all these type of bits and pieces. So for us, we think we can supply a career path.
It's really important that we're seen as an industry that's not just the job you have before you get a job. And I think that's traditionally how it's been seen. In terms of the challenges that you face, tell us what we do for you. What does the AHA do? Do we give you stuff that you want, or?
If there's a curly question, I come to you, that's for sure, sort of thing. So I think a lot of those type of things, I think the AHA has always been very, very good for those things that we've always been a bit unsure about, where you need the definition around the curlies, as I call them. I think the AHA have always been very, very good in regards to that, and it's rare that you guys can't give us the answer to what we're actually looking for. So I think in that sort of advocacy type and education type element, I think heads and shoulders above the other industries, heads and so on that's around.
I want to talk a bit about the state as a whole. Now, coincidentally, I was in a very long meeting this morning, but there were some people that had zoomed in, and they were from Victoria.
Right.
And they had just been across for training awards to South Australia. And he said, you know what, I got to hand it to you guys. In South Australia, you do this stuff so well. You just do events so well. Your hospitality is so good. And he said, and I'm a guy from Melbourne saying that. So
you're able to get back across the border.
This is starting to become, I feel, a recurring thing.
Yes.
What's your take on the vibrancy and stuff in the state?
I think the events that have been attracted to us here are on an international level, which I think is huge for the state. Again, I think government to a degree are doing a great job in attracting them and doing all the right sort of things. But the Premier is very good at selling the state for us. I think the industry is getting behind it. So I think it's a win-win across a whole lot of different levels. So it's good that the outside sources think that as well. It goes to show that there is a bit of faith in what we're doing, and by all accounts, it's all very localised. We're not bringing in interstate suppliers or those sorts of things to help us develop these events. We're actually capable of doing these sorts of things ourselves. Yeah. So I think it's great for us.
Yeah, I genuinely think we're increasingly being seen as a destination state in our own right. Like we are feeling that shift,
yes.
And it sounds now like others are feeling that shift as well. So
our restaurants and bars and those sorts of things, we're winning the big gongs around the country at the moment. The big guns are around, and we're attracting the right sort of people now. So I think that sort of vibrancy will only attract others. Yeah. More the merrier.
And I think it's everywhere. The fact that our regions are so accessible as well.
Agreed.
You can go to a best pub in the regions, for lunch, and best metro pub for dinner. Almost, they're so
100%.
Close together.
Yeah.
So
I live at Glenelg. It takes me 25 minutes to get to McLaren Vale.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, our accessibility is great, which I suppose is half the reason why probably our wine regions and those sorts of things do so well. It's close by. Not only are they great, but they're accessible. Yeah.
So while we're talking about being on the up,
yes,
where to for you guys?
As I said, we're 10 years, so we've got a lot of activations planned for next year to celebrate. So they'll vary from all sorts of bits and pieces to dinners to parties and whatever else that we get up to. I think as a company, we're stabilising a whole lot of different bits and pieces and coming together. Obviously we've got pub arm, then a restaurant sort of arm, so it's trying to bring everything a bit more together these days than probably what we had been previously. So we're actually quite excited about what the next couple of years look like. I think this is the time of year where 2KW probably really comes to its fore. It's warm, it's vibrant. DJs playing most nights of the week. Drinks are flowing. Everyone's having fun. It's just probably the venue you want to be visiting when you're either coming to Adelaide, knocking off from work on a Friday night, or any other time that you want to do some celebrations. We're here and we're ready.
Yeah. Fantastic. Now I'm going to let you go because I suspect you're going to be very busy
today
in the weather. So
excellent.
Thank you so much for your time.
Not a problem at all, guys. Thank you.